Most creators think the secret to growing a Whop community is grinding out more content, building a better Discord, investing in a bigger course, or just hoping that the right people find them. Now, these three communities that I'm showing right now are making between $1,500 and $39,000 per month. But here's the truth. None of the community resources matter if they can't sell their offer in 3 minutes or less to cold traffic. And the thing they all have in common right off the bat is a video sales letter. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to write and film a high converting video sales letter that turns complete strangers into paid members on your Whop community, step by step. And you can script, film, edit, and post a high converting VSL in under 15 minutes. Now, most people think you need to be a professional copywriter or invest in a big production team to make it work, but the best VSLs on Whop are simple, strategic, and follow a repeatable framework anyone can use. I have studied the top performing Whop creators, reverse engineered their VSLs, and helped others build theirs from idea to income. So whether you're selling a course, digital product, or just access to a private community, I will walk you through exactly how to script and shoot a VSL that drives signups and builds trust without sounding salesy or fake. So let's dive right into how to create a killer VSL that will increase your conversion rate from 1 to 2% up to as high as 10%. So if you really want to grow your community fast, this is going to be the exact presentation that you're going to want to see. I will also have this in our own community, Whop Hero, that you will have access to. So we'll just jump into this right away and start exploring. So when we talk about starting out with a VSL, what we want to focus on is starting with pain, not features. A lot of people, they like to talk about all of the features that they get when they get this product or when they join this community or when they buy this service. What happens is we want to focus on the pain point. They are there for a reason. They are there to find out if you can help them solve that pain point. And so we want to open with a bold pain point. Tired of chasing leads with nothing to show for it? That's a pain point that someone is looking into your community or your service to solve. Now, when we look at the pain points, a good rule of thumb is to always start out by identifying who your target audience is. And then when you have your target audience identified, go ahead and write out 5 to 10 pain points that they are struggling with right now. This is just complete basics for starting a VSL. You need to know the pain points because we're going to structure that into how we build this out. Now, you want to create immediate contrast between both the viewer's current reality and their desired future. So this is your pain point. This is what you want to see. And this is where you're currently at and what that difference is. And then that's when we plug in, how do we actually solve that difference? How do we solve that contrast so that you can, go from the reality where you're at now to that future? And so when we do that, we also want to write this in a way in this initial hook of filtering out the unqualified. We want to speak directly to our ideal customer. We don't want to make this too broad. We want to narrow in on exactly who we're wanting to work with. So we want to nail that hook in under 30 seconds. I will tell you the initial hook should be the first 5 seconds and the entire intro should encompass about 30 seconds. Now, you want to highlight the transformation, not the method. So this may be get 5 to 10 book calls a week without paid ads. This may be how to grow your YouTube channel, or even just like ours, which is how to grow a community on Whop and monetize it. And you want to stay under 30 seconds. You want to grab their attention fast, especially on Whop right now. People are just bouncing around from thing to thing trying to figure out what's going to be a good fit for them. So you want to stay under 30 seconds and you want to summarize everything that is yet to come while still building a little bit of curiosity. And then you want to use outcome-driven language. So landing clients, learning Facebook ads, building a website yourself, those things are outcome-driven language, not you're going to learn the step-by-step process of how we use to grow our leads into, nurturing them into active clients. No, you want to land clients. We focus on helping people land more clients. That's a quicker and easier way to get to that result. Now, you want to qualify your audience early, so be clear about who this is for. And typically when we're looking at this, we're looking at trying to handle the objections of the audience as we're going through the VSL. So the first message should hook them into the video. And then we should also qualify them and say, hey, this is specifically for you, my target client, my target audience. This is meant for you. If you're a coach making under 10K a month, this is for you. And so that's what we want to identify there. We also want to use urgency filters. So if you want results this month, not next year, this is what you need to do. Or another urgency filter would be, hey, right now for a limited time, our community is completely for free, but we are increasing the prices in the next 5 active community members. And then you want to make those viewers self-select. So they're either in or out immediately. That we don't want to waste their time watching the rest of our VSL. We just want them to move on to the next thing if this doesn't fit their needs. Now we want to build trust with social proof. And this is a question that I get asked a lot is, I don't have social proof. I don't have a social media following. I don't have any reviews. I don't have any community members yet. That's okay. We can build around that. But if you do, we want to showcase those results early on. We want to show people that, yes, we have done this for other people just like you. And these are the results that they got. We also want to highlight accolades, and then we want to use polished visuals. So if you don't have any reviews, if you don't have any case studies, or even anyone in your community, I would focus on highlighting the accolades. And let's say that you don't even have a ton of experience or a ton of results doing this thing, but you want to build a community around it. First, I will say you need to build a community about providing value. And if you haven't done it yourself, how can you provide that value? But if that still meets you and you still want to do a community, what I would say to focus on is talk about the hours of time that you've spent doing it, not necessarily the results. So I have been making videos, or I have been researching this for X amount of hours, or the last few years I've been involved in this. And then also use polished visuals. This right here will also bring in some trust by just showing professionalism. So use polished visuals, build a logo, make something that looks credible and makes the community look like a credible source. So this is for people that have agencies or different services where they have sales calls attached, right? Sales calls give us great data for VSLs. If this is not for you, go ahead and skip on to the next one. But I'd recommend that everyone understands this, because everyone should be having sales calls at some point. Using something like Fathom AI or the Zoom's built-in recorder allows you to record those calls. If you're able to actually analyze those calls and see the trend of objections that your clients or your prospects have with working with you or doing business with you, you can go ahead and pull all of those objections out and build your VSL script from that. And it should go from the highest amount of objections that you've received to the lowest. And that's how you should build out your VSL script. And that way, as they're watching it, they're thinking, holy smokes, this guy is literally reading my mind. He's talking to me right now, because I thought about, well, is this for me? He answered it's for me. Will this actually work? Yes, he answered it actually works. Well, I don't have time to do this. Well, he talks about how it doesn't take a lot of time to do this, or how much time it saves. So you go through that process of answering all of those objections in a 3-minute video, and it's a no-brainer for them to sign up. Especially if we're talking about price versus free. Free, you can get away with that a little bit. For a paid community, you are asking them to pay money and invest their time and money and resources into this. So you need to be handling those objections along the way, or you're not going to get someone to pay. On the free side, it's not free. They're still investing their time. And if you want them to be really involved in the community, they're going to have to be bought into it. So don't just think that the pain points and objections are only if you're selling something. If you have a free community, you need to solve that problem. Now, you want to introduce your solution in 3 simple steps. A lot of people get carried away here. They just want to go super in depth into all the features and all the crazy things that they're doing. Let's talk about a marketing agency handling SEO. Majority of their clients are not going to understand the background of building backlinks and focusing on keywords and tracking everything with Google Search Console and some of the tags and everything that you have going on the website. That is your lane and your world. Your job is to share that 3-part framework and focus on the benefits that are in it for them for those frameworks. And if you keep it to 3 to 4 parts, you're not going to overburden yourself with too much information and not overburden them by consuming too much information and it getting confusing. So you want to build that into a 3-part framework, explain what it does, not how it works in detail, and then use a unique mechanism, like something that sounds proprietary and exclusive. Like, for example, for a community that doesn't have a lot, hey, we are doing exclusive live calls in this community. or we're doing exclusive live streams only in this community. Nowhere else in the world are we doing this, where we are solving this pain point each time. That's a good, unique mechanism. Now, you want to anticipate the questions before they're asked. We talked about the pain points, we talked about the objections, but typically this psychologically is how people think about stuff. So the first thing that they think of is this a good ROI, both financially and time? Is this a good return on my investment if I spend hours learning this material? Is this a good return on investment if I invest $1,000 to learning this information? Those are things that need to be addressed up front. How it works. So how does this even work? We want to explain this in a clear process. Again, I go back to SEO as an example. You want to explain it clearly to them that this is what they get. This is how we do it. But we don't want to give too much information away and explain all of it. We still want to leave some curiosity in the back end there. Social proof. Hey, have they done this for other people? So that's where we plug that in. The overall price. Well, this is great. All of these things are amazing, but how much is it going to cost me? Those things are what they're going to be thinking about. And then what their next step is. So, okay, I'm interested, but what do I do from here? So if it's a schedule a call or, join the community through the link, you need to detail that exactly for them. Which brings up the value stack. So if you are selling a product or service or just a membership within the community, you need to value stack it. So look at everything that they're getting. Look at the real world total value price. So for this example, $7,500. And then you show your price after explaining it all to them. Now, what they're doing emotionally is they see all of the value that they get and they go, wow, that's a lot of stuff. And then they go, ooh, that is like way too expensive for me. And then you hit them with, hey, here's our price for you today if you join. And that's $14.97. Now, if you would have hit them with $14.97 out the get-go, it may have devalued all of the things that you're actually providing them. So they look at $14.97 and they go, oh, that's not that bad. Versus if you open with that price and you open with the services that they're getting with that, they go, oh, that's a little bit higher. I need to do some more research. So we want to think about that type of stuff. And then we also want to think about how are they making the decision themselves. And we want to answer those questions for them because then that shows them that we are trustworthy and that we're thinking through this process and not holding anything back from them. So 80% in savings. Highlight that discount to them so they don't even have to think about it. They don't have to get a calculator. It's right there. Hey, you are saving 80% today if you sign up. Now, we want to address the alternatives if we are trying to sell a higher ticket course or community, but this still works within free communities that you're trying to develop from scratch. So what happens if you do nothing? What is the cost of inaction? What happens if you hire someone? It's going to be more expensive, less specialized. What happens if you try doing it alone? You're not going to get the results and you're going to waste the time. And then what happens if you join us? It's going to be faster, it's going to be cheaper, it's going to be more reliable. That's what you want to focus on. And then you want to add some bonuses in there too. So time-sensitive bonuses, so create urgency to act now. Hey, for our next 10 community members, it's going to be free. And then we're going to be raising the prices up to $49 or $99 per month. The secondary pain points, so some of the onboarding issues, some of the objections, how much time it's going to take them to actually be invested in this community, that's another one. And then separate value for each. So we want to increase that total perceived offer value for each pain point or each bonus that we are solving there. Now we want to include a strong risk reversal. And what we're looking at here is especially with the paid sections, the paid communities. Not necessarily for the free because you can't really give them anything back in return. But we want to offer a guarantee that reduces their hesitation. So in 30 days, if you have no results, you're going to get 100% of your money back. And then also consider stronger confidence plays like double guarantees or we will work with you until you win. And then mention how few people actually request refunds to reinforce trust. And talk about that. Hey, over the last year, we've had 500 community members and we've maintained 90% retention. Or, we haven't had a bad review or we haven't had a single client that hasn't grown. Something along those lines that doesn't make it too crazy salesy and too personal, but also shows that, hey, you guys deliver a good service. Our clients can speak for themselves. They're still with us. They're still working with us. And so that's something that can be added as well. Now, you want to craft the perfect call to action. You just had someone sit through the video. You're probably going to have 20% of the audience remaining at the end if you have a good VSL. And so if you have under 2K offers, send them immediately to the checkout. If it's a higher ticket offer, so if you're starting a free community now and you want to build up in the future, a higher ticket offer would look like book a free strategy session with me. It's a hard 2 words there. Book a free strategy session with me. And that's what you want to do to get them on a call, because they're going to need more selling than just watching a VSL. And then you want to use inviting phrases at the end. So if this sounds like what you've been looking for, then do this. And then you also have the option to add secondary call to actions to catch stragglers. So if someone's like, hey, I'm not ready to do this right now, well, you have a downsell offer, you can push them to that. Or, hey, you're not ready to click the link right now, go ahead and click the button over here and schedule a one-on-one call with me, and I'll walk you through everything that you need to know. Something like that will redirect someone that may not be a client right away, but still someone that's interested in the service or community that you are offering. Now, this is the optimization for attention spans. Right now, if you want to go and take a look at this is a little bit more advanced than inside of Whop, because we're keeping it under 3 minutes and we're trying to focus mainly on the low ticket. But if you are building out a complex funnel, these are things that you want to keep in mind here. Now, technical and hosting tips. Now, these are important for shooting and uploading your videos, and something that I learned while repositioning my VSLs for Whop. So if you only have your phone, that's fine. Video with your phone if that's all you have. Put on a tripod right out in front of you. Make sure that you have good lighting that's casting into your face and you don't have any weird shadows. As professional as you can make it is the goal for this. If you don't have access to any crazy softwares or don't have any video editing experience, use loom.com. It's free to do this, and it doesn't have to be flashy. They just need to see your screen and your face walking them through what they're going to get. And you need to be showing your face. This is not optional. Do not create a video sales letter that is just a scrolling through your page and talking with a voiceover over the top. No, you need to show your face. You are the community member, you are the community owner, and the one that is driving this. People are joining the community to learn from you. You need to show your face. And if that's too scary for you to do, then building a community that's going to generate revenue for you is not going to be it. And then you want to create a script. Don't just wing it. Don't just try to go out and talk to the camera, because it's going to be hard. Have a script. There's teleprompter apps out there that you can download on your phone so you can have the words in front of you. But really take that time to think about your thoughts. Take everything that we learned in this presentation and apply it and build out a script. And then export in 4K video quality. You want a good script, good video, but if you have terrible quality, that's going to defeat the entire purpose and be a waste of time for you. And then you want to keep the videos under 300 megabytes for Whop. Now, I stumbled upon this. I didn't know what to do right off the bat, so I figured it out, and here's exactly what you need to do. If you have a 4K video that's 3 minutes, it's going to be over 500 megabytes, so you can't upload it. You're going to need to compress it without losing quality, and I didn't want to download any crazy things onto my computer, and so I found editor.flixer.com. They do free, and it doesn't require a download to your app, and the quality still remained the same, and I dropped it from 500 megabytes to like 150, so was able to load it up there. Now, as we talk about all of that communication, we want to focus also on the communication that's going to convert this traffic. We want to speak to all 4 different personality types. People think differently about these purchase decisions or the things that they're doing on the day-to-day. We have the logical, the emotional, the fast-paced, and the skeptical. When we build out this VSL, we don't want to make this just logical and just talk numbers to them. And we don't want to make this just emotional, because that's going to turn off your logical and your skeptical. You want to answer all of these. So think about it from the perspective of, if I'm only relying on logic, is this a good option for me? If I'm only emotional, did they do a good job of building up the hype for me? If I'm fast-paced and want to get through this thing and onto it, is this quick enough? Does it actually compress it down to only the important information? And then if I'm skeptical, how are you reinforcing the skepticism there and overcoming those objections? So use that framework when building this out. Build out your entire script, and then when you're done with the script, go ahead and look into this. If you also join my community, I will go through some of the scripts with the community members and walk them step by step and point out things that they can improve. Now, once you create the VSL, you're not done. You want to continually optimize. Things are going to change in your community. Things are going to get updated. So you want to do a monthly review. Review your new sales calls, review things that your members are saying, review some new features that came out and update that stuff. We want to look at quarterly update at a minimum. I wouldn't do more than that right now. You're starting, you're getting busy. So quarterly updates is going to be important. And then you want to continually, improve your VSL. Now, I created this VSL success checklist that you'll have access to within a Whop Hero community. So you can go in and you can see, okay, pre-production, this is what I need to do. For the actual shooting of the video, this is what I have to do. And then post-production to make sure that everything's formatted correctly and uploaded properly. And you'll have access to download that here. So here's the bottom line. If you want to grow your Whop community from the start, you don't need a better product. You need a better message. And now you have it. The blueprint to write and film a VSL that actually gets people to buy, join, and stick around. If you want help putting this into action, you can have access to this entire template and the entire checklist here so you can start building out your scripts. And then I also review this stuff with some of the community members as well. So if you want access to that, you can join the Whop Hero community. The link is in the description below. And if you want to check out my current VSL, click this video here to take a look. And I'll see you in the next video.
Okay, let's go.